content creator Claudine Francois and the founder of In Good Clean Taste. I am dedicated to helping women entrepreneurs design a healthy lifestyle by incorporating healthy, delicious tools, tips, and resources that empower their inner and outer game. Every episode, my featured guest and I share our healthy, delicious lifestyle journey on my globally recognized show, Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine. Hello, and thank you so much for being here on Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine. We have an absolutely wonderful guest today. She is a dear friend of mine and an absolute gem. She has some great info to share, and I just know you're going to love her. Plus, she has a little something special for our community, so be sure to stick around to the end because I know you are not going to want to miss this. Now, as always, if you are interested in learning more about me, my products, and my services, you can always check those out at ingoodcleantaste.com. Now, today's show topic is how to uplevel your health with gratitude with our very special guest, Miss Seannon Jones. I cannot wait to bring her up from the green room, but I want to tell you a little bit more about this powerhouse before I do. So Seannon Jones has 20 years of experience in business development and relationship marketing. Now, as a Send Out Cards affiliate, she helps small business owners and sales professionals grow their business through gratitude, using Send Out Cards tools and systems to strengthen customer relationships, improve customer retention, and increase sales and referrals. So if you are an entrepreneur and you want to do those things, you're going to love this show. So today she's going to help us learn how gratitude is actually a great way to up level your health. So I'm going to bring her in and you are going to hear all about it. Hello, Seannon. Welcome.
Hey, Claudine. Good to be here.
So good to have you. I'm so excited to hear all the wonderful gems that you're going to be sharing with us today. So I'm going to ask you the first thing that I ask all my guests, which is, what does a healthy, delicious lifestyle mean to you?
I think a big part of it is celebrating, right? Because it's actually something that we can control. There's certain things that are out of your control. You have a bad day, you're in a car accident, you get sick. You can't control that, but you can celebrate the wins. And I think that goes to mental state too, right? It's hard to be healthy physically when you're, not in a good mental state. And so when you can make those conscious choices to say, I'm going to celebrate the small wins. I'm going to find something to celebrate in my life every day. It helps you have, an attitude of gratitude and a healthy mental state, and that helps you physically.
Oh my gosh, there were so many good points in there. Just starting off with a bang here. Oh my goodness. I love what you said about celebrating the little things every day for a couple reasons. One, for when many of us business owners, especially for us women, I think we find it hard to remember to celebrate or to allow ourselves to celebrate. Like, I am so guilty of this. I forget, right? I forget to celebrate the little things. And you're right, it's so important. I mean, I remember when I was in corporate and I was a boss, like I would make a conscious effort. Who's doing that for us, right? We have to do
Exactly.
it for ourselves. We have to be our own really good boss.
Well, we do that as moms too, right? You create this amazing Christmas for your kids. You celebrate birthdays. Anybody who has kids play soccer when they were little, whether you win or lose, the parents all make the tunnel and the kids run through and the parents are like, yay, yay, yay. Right. So we do that for everybody, probably but ourselves. Stereotypically, women are kind of guilty of giving everything they have to everybody else, and there's nothing left for you personally.
Oh my gosh, so true, so true. I love that. So when you said, I don't remember exact words you used, but it was something about celebrating something every day, even if you don't feel like you have a win, having, like you said, the attitude of gratitude, thinking of what is it that I can celebrate today? Something good happened today. What was it? Or something
Exactly.
great is going to happen today.
And celebrating the people in your lives too. Obviously, I think, first and foremost, we need to find things to uplift ourselves. That whole, like if you're in the plane, put the oxygen mask on yourself. But obviously, you talked a little about the fact that I'm an affiliate with Send Out Cards. And one of the things that I do in building those relationships with the people that are important to me is, use cards to celebrate people. So, the obvious birthdays, anniversaries, but sometimes I'll just see little things on Facebook or, with friends, and I'll pull a picture and put it in a card and send it out to them and say, I'm so happy for you, graduation or promotion in a job or whatever. So I take
Mhm.
time every morning to send out a couple of cards and celebrate the people in my lives too.
And I have been the recipient of some of these cards, and I have to tell you that getting those cards, when it's unexpected, it's not my birthday, it's not Christmas, like getting those cards unexpectedly, it really does bring somebody else joy in their day. And yeah, you're really great at like taking, like you said, something from Facebook. I remember when I graduated with my health coaching certification, you took that picture that I posted on Facebook and you sent me a card. And I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome. So I think it does two things, right? It makes you feel good for knowing that you're going to be giving something to someone else. Cause I think a lot of us, when we are givers, we feel good, right? It gets us that little
Yes.
serotonin or dopamine hit or whatever it is. But also,
Yep.
you are truly making someone else's day.
Yeah. Well, and if you ask somebody in their 80s or their 90s what they wish they could go back and do, it's rarely going to be make more money or work harder, right? It's going to be about the relationships in their life, more time with their spouse, their kids, their siblings. I can't imagine anything that's more important than relationships.
Yes, this sounds like a zesty citrus moment right here. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I want to, one of the things that I had asked you, one of the questions I'd asked you before, a little tip that you were going to share was um, celebrate your personal accomplishments and the people in your life. And I think that's what we've been touching on right now, right?
Yes.
Celebrating ourselves, celebrating others. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you say we make such an effort to make things special for other people, for our kids, for our employees if we have them, for other people in our lives, but celebrating ourselves. What does that do for, I mean, I'm putting you on the spot here. What does it do for us? Do you know, like mentally, what is the effect that that has on our body or on our outlook or on our, how we show up in our business?
Sure. Well, I mean, in fact, and there's studies on this, you can train your brain, right? Your brain is like a little computer, and there's this old saying, garbage in, garbage out kind of thing. And so the reverse is true, right? You can, train your brain. That's where you see athletes and high CEOs with goal setting and manifestation. Those are buzzwords now, but they're real concepts, right?
Mhm.
Of, training your brain in terms of being successful and accomplishing goals and, manifesting what you want, right? So, I want to be able to travel. I want to, all these different things. And so you kind of have like your vision board, that this time of year, early in the year, vision boards are really popular, manifesting what you want and celebrating is part of that. This is kind of a world sometimes that'll beat you down. There can be a lot of struggles, busy mom, busy job. I know you work with a lot of, powerful women, right? Women that are CEOs, business owners, and that aren't taking time for themselves. And you work with them on, a lot of things, health, nutrition. And so part of that healthy mental state is celebrating yourself. You get those little endorphins, training your mind to have a positive outlook that you are accomplishing things, that you are doing good things, creating that positivity instead of letting life beating you down and saying, I'm not enough. I didn't accomplish my goals. I'm not a good partner, a good daughter, a good, whatever, friend, spouse. You've got to train your brain for that positivity. And then, activity breeds activity. So, the more positivity that you're focused on, the better, the happier you're going to be. You kind of,
Mm.
it's like when you're driving. If you look to the left, you're going to veer to the left. If you look to the right, you're going to veer to the right. So if you focus on those negative things, that's, going to be the focus of your brain versus finding something to celebrate every day and focusing on the positive.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so good. And I will say in my own life, I have noticed that when I fall off the gratitude wagon, like when I don't do my morning, and I do find, here's the thing, I like to sleep in. I do. I will admit it. I'm not an
Me
early
too.
bird, right? So like getting up early to do a morning practice, I'm like, come on. So I had to let go of the perfection. I had to let go of like doing the perfect morning practice. And I had to give myself grace and say, I'm going to get up 10 minutes early or just 15 minutes early, just like a
Yeah.
little bit so that I have enough time to do 5 minutes of gratitude and like 10 minutes of either visualization or meditation or something to just get myself, I would say, like, get my brain screwed on right for the day. Because I
Yeah.
have noticed, like you said, you're attracting positivity. When you start your day giving yourself that positivity, that positive energy, writing down the great things that either happened the day before or the great things that you're looking forward to for the day. And one of my previous episodes, one of my guests showed me a gratitude journal that I ended up buying because I loved it. I loved the idea because it actually gave
Nice.
you prompts, right? Because I know a lot of people are great at free form. I'm a very like analytical, formulaic person. I'm like, give me the prompts. I can answer questions.
Yeah.
But when I do that for myself, I am setting up that positivity for the day, and I feel like I attract more of it in. It sounds woo woo. Okay, I'll grant it. It sounds woo woo, but I don't know why it works. It just works.
Well, between me and you, Claudine, I know it might sound a little silly, but sometimes I send cards to myself.
Nice. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. That is so cool. And then you're like, because you don't know exactly what day it's gonna arrive. You're like, I
Nope.
get a card.
I'll take a picture, like, I just, went to San Francisco with my husband, so, there was a picture of us that I like, and nobody prints anymore, right? So, I put it on the front of a card and sent it to myself. I did a vision board and put that on a card so I can always have it with me, so, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you just made me think of something. I could send myself like, um, what are those phrases that motivate you? Motivational phrases.
Yep, I do that, absolutely.
That is so good because I know, okay, so as women, those of us are still in like the phase of life where we're still cycling. Like there are times of the month when you're just more down on yourself. I should really start sending myself those motivational phrases when I'm in like late
Yes.
luteal phase and I'm like, nobody loves me.
What's one of my favorite ones that I send out to people? "Nobody is you, and that's your superpower." I have a card like that I send out a lot,
Oh,
so
that's so good. That is a good thing to remember too, because I know a lot of us have heard that, but it's always something that we should remember because I think, a lot of us who are goal oriented, who are like always looking at the finish line, we're just like, I'm not there yet. So
right.
it's like all or nothing, right? You're not there yet and it doesn't count. But remembering, I hate when people say that you're on the journey, but it's true. It's so true.
It's just a fact. Life's a marathon. It's not a sprint. These are cliche things that have become cliche, things that have become buzzwords, but they're out there because, that's
Mhm.
true. And that, nobody is you and that's your superpower. I did send that one to myself.
I love it. I'm gonna send that to myself. I'm gonna send it to myself once a month. Okay. So I love this tip that you shared, and I would love to hear how this relates to gratitude and setting yourself up with a positive, healthy lifestyle. You'd said figure out health foods, especially fruit and vegetables that you actually like, and incorporate more of those into your meals daily. Tell us more about that.
Sure. Well, I mean, mom of four, right? So, some of it comes from that. Some of it comes from, me personally. I've had, up months and down months weight wise and, all that kind of stuff, busy mom working full time, trying to manage four three-sport athletes.
Mm.
And one of the things that I've observed with myself and my, girlfriends and friends is that when you go on a diet, which I'm so not a fan of that word, I know you're not either, that's always going to be temporary. And a lot of times it feels punitive, right? Like you're just trying to get through it, right?
Mhm.
Because it's like, oh, I don't like the food, or, you're starving yourself or whatever. But and one of the things that I love about your website and the recipes that you put together is if you're not eating stuff that you like, if you're not eating stuff that tastes good, like you're not going to keep that up. You know,
True. It's so true.
yeah, like, and that goes to positivity and state of mind too, because what's your state of mind when you're eating stuff that you don't like? What's your state of mind when you're on this restrictive diet that feels punitive? It's not positive, you're not feeding your soul, you're not, You feel like you're being punished. That's not a good state of mind to be in for any length of time if you don't have to be. So, food should be, something that you enjoy and healthy at the same time. And so it's about figuring out what you like that's also healthy. Somebody might like spinach, somebody might not like that, but they might like romaine lettuce, whatever. Find out what you like that's healthy and then just have those things be part of your diet. And then the other piece of that is to try not to keep too much of the other stuff in the house at all, right? Um,
Yes, I love that. That's like such a healthy, delicious lifestyle moment because you're talking about instead of having a deprivation mindset, having an abundance mindset.
yeah,
And when you do that with food, which is something we're having multiple times a day, right?
right.
That definitely spills into other areas. If you're feeling deprived, if you're like, I really don't want to eat this rice cracker again, or whatever it is.
With my kids, we never focused on what you couldn't have. I mean, we certainly had those conversations, right? But first of all, I tried not to keep a lot of stuff in the house that they couldn't have. And then we always kept a bowl of fruit on the table. So it would be like grapes and oranges and apples and whatever. And to your point about abundance, it was like you can have as much of this as you want. You can have it anytime you want. You never have to ask. So that feels good, right? Especially when you're young, it's like, oh, I don't have to ask. I can get that anytime I want. So now you're creating that mindset and that attitude of abundance over scarcity.
Yes, and when I work with my glowing women, we do this whole concept of crowding out, which is essentially what you're talking about. Is like you have so many great things to eat and so many great things to choose from, and you don't have the junk around, so you don't actually miss it, right? It's so usually when we
Right.
see it in the pantry or we see it in the freezer that we're like, I really want to eat that type of ice cream. But if you're
Yes.
eating so many great things, if you have like I don't know, my brownie bites or like any of my desserts from my website, right? Like you don't need that other stuff, especially when you have these good foods around. I love that. That is so awesome. So, one thing that we were kind of touching on was taking the time to be grateful for the little things and the good things will come to you. And I would love to hear you had shared with me. I'm going to put it in here. You shared with me this book that you love called Promptings. I would love for you to tell me a little bit more about this. Like, how does what do you like about this book, and does it relate to our conversation about gratitude?
So that goes back to Send Out Cards. The founder of Send Out Cards, Cody Bateman, wrote this book, and it's called Promptings because we're all kind of a little intuitive in the sense that everybody gets those little feelings every now and then, like, oh, I should call my mom, or I should call my best friend, or I should call my sister, or oh, like I should give that person a hug. And a lot of times we just don't listen to ourselves. And we go, I'll do it later, and then it never happens, right? Or you keep how many times have you and a friend of yours go, we should get together, we should have lunch, we should, or oh, I should call this person, somebody's on your heart, they're on your mind, and you keep putting it off, and then like 6 months later, a year later, you still haven't done it, and you're like, dang it. And then heaven forbid, that person gets sick or something, you're thinking, oh, I've been thinking about calling them all this time. So promptings is about acting. That is his name for it. You can call it whatever you want, you can call it, being intuitive or intuition, but it's when those promptings come to you to act on them. And that
Mm,
was a big part of why Send Out Cards was created, to have that vehicle, because it's online, there's an app on the phone, there's a website that when you're thinking about somebody, when they're on their mind, they're on your heart, you can just real quick send out a card, even if it's a time when you wouldn't do it. Like, maybe it's 2 in the morning, or, something like that. You can still go on the app or go on the website, pull up a card, just, put a little something in there, hey, thinking about you, and send it out, right? And just to act on those promptings. And again, I think that's something that really you and I have talked about, kind of that giver's game philosophy of, or people call it attraction, giving and it
mhm.
comes back to you. When you do good, you feel good.
True. Absolutely true. Yes, and like you said, it doesn't have to be something big. It could just be I'm thinking of you. Like noticing the little things. And I think when like let's just let's just make this a game, right? Like when I'm doing my gratitude and I know I'm going to be writing down at the end of the day like what I was grateful for the next morning, I'm actually looking out for things to be
Yes.
grateful for, right? So like my
Yeah.
mind is poised to notice the great things I have in my life. Oh, I have a warm, cozy house. Oh, I have air conditioning, right?
Yeah.
Or like, oh, the flowers are coming up in the front, or, whatever it is, like little things. Oh, it's a sunny day today. I'm using the weather a lot, but there could be anything. It's like, oh, we're all healthy. All these little things, and they add up throughout the day. Just know, and even like I'll start to take notes so I don't forget. But like
Yeah.
having a constant reminder and getting a card, sending a card, those are all great feeling things. You're like, oh, I did something good in the world. Or like when you get a card, you absolutely feel special and loved and,
There's something
all things.
tangible. It's why I started using it. We're in a digital world and I use a lot of that and so do you, and especially in business. And I think that, we're very fortunate to have that at our fingertips. But because of that, there's less that's tangible, right? And there's something about getting a card in the mail. I don't know anybody who gets a card from a friend or a family member that's like a birthday card or a just thinking of you card or, heard you were sick, hope you feel better. First of all, there's something tactile and tangible because you're touching it's physical, right? And
Mhm.
then I don't know anybody who doesn't open a card and get a smile on their face. Oh, so and so thought of me.
Yes.
And again, that's that thing that, creates those little endorphins. And we know that's like the feel good chemical in the brain. And so there is an actual physical response in your brain and your body to that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so good. And that reminds me because the other thing that I wanted to talk about when it came to gratitude is that it actually has been proven to regulate stress and improve sleep. So, like, I know there are a lot of women out there who have a million things on their plate. They are so, so stressed. And a lot of women who aren't getting great sleep, right? Well, the cortisol response, the stress response has a lot to do with how well you sleep. There are a few other things too, but hormone balances and sugar balances, but
Yeah.
stress plays a big part in all of those as well. And if you have this simple tool, this doing your daily gratitude, sending out somebody a card, thinking of people, sending little notes, like all these little ways that we can bring more joy into our lives, it's a win-win, right? I don't want to make it sound
Absolutely.
like I'm doing gratitude because well, in a way I am doing gratitude because it helps me
It
physically, it helps me
does.
emotionally, it helps me mentally, it sets me up. I'm on my A game when I'm the most grateful, which actually helps other people in the end because then I can give more, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, I started earlier by saying there were a lot of things we can't control, right? So you have to focus on the things that you can control. There's a quote that I like that says, what you focus on grows. What you think about expands and what you dwell upon determines your destiny. So then
Mm.
that means that you have that choice. Are you going to focus on positive things, on gratitude, on being thankful, or are you going to focus on negative? It's your choice either way, but then that's going to determine your direction.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. It is sometimes it's a great reminder, sometimes it's a harsh reminder when we're in that low spot, but
Yeah.
finding a way to get yourself to the next level up and just the next level up, just getting those little promptings like well, the book. Those little promptings to remind you of the good things that you do have in your life and how much more you have to give. That is a great reminder. I absolutely love that. Oh my gosh. And that brings me to your special gift for our community, which is so awesome. I know they're gonna love it. So I am gonna be with this show. I'm gonna be posting the link to your link tree, which has a free there's a link to send out a free send out card, correct?
Absolutely.
Yay! And so anyone can do it. They can try it out, be like this, and bring joy to somebody else's day, bring joy to your day. I absolutely love that. And I think there's also a free workbook in there with the promptings book, is there not?
There is, yeah. So there's a free promptings ebook in there that anybody can download and go through and just again to help you develop those inner promptings and acting on that and acting on, gratitude every day.
Oh, that is so generous of you. Thank you so much. So I'll definitely link those in the show notes so everyone can go and grab those. Seannon, it has just been an absolute pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge and wisdom with us.
Oh, Claudine, thanks for having me. Always good to see you.
Yay. All right. I'm going to drop you in the green room, grab a mocktail. I'll be back in a minute. I'll just be in there. Oh my gosh. Wasn't she just amazing? How awesome was that? I know you guys are gonna love the free offering she's provided for us. I'll also put the promptings book in the show notes so you can check those out. But I learned some new tricks today for sure. I'm so happy to have Seannon on our show. And thank you so much for joining us. Now, I want to remind you, how are you going to create a healthy, delicious lifestyle for yourself today? And until then, be sure to join me for another episode of Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine next Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central. And until then, have a healthy, delicious lifestyle. Thank you for joining me today. You can learn more about me, my products, and services at ingoodcleantaste.com. Be sure to join me for another episode every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on my globally recognized show, Healthy Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine.